Hey guys, welcome to Let's Be Open. So this is our first ever episode, so bear with us. And we might be splitting some of these clips into separate videos and episodes for you guys as well. So yeah, I'll start. I'll just say I'm Chloe and I'm in my late 20s. And I want to do this podcast because I think Tristan and I have some really good conversations and things to share. We've thought a lot about doing this podcast, so this isn't like a spontaneous let's just do a podcast. Like, we've really thought about, we think we could have some stuff that could help you guys. We've known each other for over 2 years now. And yeah, do you want to say anything?
Yeah, well, I'll just say that I'm Tris and I'm 30 and I'm a personal trainer and I work in a gym, and I've been working on myself for probably the last 10 years, but it's massively snowballed since I did psychedelic drugs about 7 years ago. And then furthermore, since I met Chloe, I feel like we're such kindred spirits and we really click, and we really kind of help each other progress our thoughts in a positive way. And it's going to be good to try and talk about kind of our experiences of life and getting rid of your childhood trauma, and just kind of the correct ways to act in the world. And not that we have all of the answers, but we have some pretty good ideas. And also I think that there's some really good kind of spiritual and academic teachers out there, but I feel like they use a vocabulary which is so advanced it's quite difficult for some people to listen to. And I feel like Chloe and I talk in quite layman's terms, but I think that in itself could be a real good thing, because we will possibly be easier to understand for a lot of people. Yeah.
And also, just to add to that, Tristan and we were in a monogamous relationship for 10 months, and then we've been in basically we kind of call it a non-label relationship. So it's
non-monogamous relationship.
It's not like we looked up the definitions of polyamory and open, and we don't really come under either of them. It's kind of be what you want to be, it's also / monogamous, because if we want to be monogamous we can, if we don't want to be monogamous it's basically like no label kind of. And that's been the last year and a half, so that has been a really good thing for both of us and taught us a lot about ourselves and each other, even though it's been really difficult and probably one of the hardest things both of us have been through. Yeah. Also, Tris mentioned he's a personal trainer and so am I, so I think fitness and health is very important to both of us, and I think that comes under the umbrella of personal development and looking after yourself as well, so we'll definitely be talking about that probably in some episodes. Yeah, I think that's quite a good little intro to what we're going to talk about, isn't it?
It's a good little summary, I think. Yeah. Nice one.
So next up, we're going to talk about getting annoyed and how it can cause you a lot of suffering and is actually quite pointless.
Things annoying you in itself is probably a bad thing, I think. We all get annoyed by things.
It's funny because that's literally what I was thinking when you asked me. I was like, if something annoys me, it's going to be triggering my wounding, right? And I'm going to be reacting. So I was thinking, whatever annoys me. Yeah. Right? So I was thinking, like, if in the car, like, slow people driving annoys me. But then I don't really want to, I don't know, I just know that that's coming from my wounding.
But I think that in itself is a great thing to talk about, isn't it? Things annoying you is, like Eckhart Tolle would say, is non-acceptance of the now. You're
not being present.
Yeah. You're causing yourself to suffer. The situation is this, and you can either accept it or you can suffer and not allow it.
People who get annoyed easily, people who have victim mentality, it's non-acceptance and not being present, and I guess like trying to control everything, which you just can't. Like, old people walk really slowly and sometimes you're stuck behind them and you think, God, this is so annoying, I'm stuck behind this like really slow person. But you could just be accepting of the situation. Oh, this has happened, like, I might be a bit late, but oh well. And enjoy whatever's going on at that moment.
Yeah, much like we were talking about the other day, actually, with people that are different to yourself, and how certain people try and control everything in their life. And you think that that's going to be a great thing if everything's under your control, but you realise in life that every single person is different to you. And if you want to control everything, you either have to oppress the people around you and force them to be the way that you want them to be, in which case it's not much fun because the people you're surrounding yourself with are people that are being oppressed. So if I only like you to wear certain clothes and I force you to wear them, it's not very fun for you because you can't do what you want. So that's one problem with that. And the second problem, the only other thing that you can do is get away from those people, get away from things that annoy you. But if you get away from everything that's different to yourself, you'll basically be sitting on your house in your own, surrounded by no people.
Yeah.
And that can't be much fun either. So the only answer really is to accept people for how they are, their annoying traits that you deem annoying, try and accept them and realise that it's good to have things that annoy you because you'd be really fucked off and bored.
And your life would be so much better because if you think of all the energy and time you waste being annoyed, that you would have back. So, you know, you're annoyed at that child on the train being really noisy. Your whole train journey, you're sitting there being annoyed at that child. That's all you think about. Whereas if you didn't have that, you'd have that whole 45 minutes or an hour on the train to enjoy your book or listen to some music. Your life would be so much more relaxing.
Yeah, very true. Yeah, the other day when I was stoned actually, I'd smoked a blunt and I'd gone for a walk and I came home. I think I told you. And my back door to my house, I thought I'd left it open, but it was locked and I don't have a back door key. I've only got a front door key. And I just remember thinking in my head, for fuck's sake, this is so fucking annoying. I've got to walk round to the front of my house. And in that moment, I realised that that's exactly what I'm doing, non-acceptance of the situation. And ironically, it was something that I was in control of anyway. I was the one that locked the door in the first place, so it was my fault anyway. But on top of that, I was just unaccepting of the situation. And normally I would have walked around to the front of the house, annoyed at the fact that I had to walk around to the front of the house. Oh, what an inconvenience for me this is. But I realised, what's the point in that? Because all I'm doing is suffering and I'm probably missing out on all the good things when I walk around to the front of the house. So I ended up walking around to the front of the house, looking at the nice stars, breathing in the fresh air, thinking, oh, life's not too bad. And what a better way to live your life rather than trying to control everything and when things don't go your way, getting annoyed by it, you just live your life.
Yeah, and you said a really good word there, suffering. It's like, so basically being annoyed leads to suffering of your present situation.
Yeah, exactly.
I think of it like when I was anorexic, like a lot of people found me annoying, or like my family did, and it was annoying how I ate, and that affected them so much. But if they'd been more accepting, obviously it helped me as well recover, but trying to, like, getting so annoyed and angry with me doesn't actually help the situation at all. Whereas if they'd been more accepting and been like, accept the situation and also helped me get better, it would have been like, that would have been really helpful. And next up, we're going to talk about whether your relationship pushes you to be a better human or does it hold you back?
It's interesting being relating with another human being for such a long period of time. 2 years for me is a long time to be relating with someone. My relating with people hasn't lasted that long normally because people are so obsessed in this socially conditioned world living monogamously that girls tend to not be able to stay around when you want to sleep with more than one girl. But one thing that you learn relating long term is, or in a relationship where you're working on yourself, is that I want Chloe to be the best version of herself. And if Chloe becomes the best version of herself and I remain in the position that I'm in, we won't be together for very long because Chloe's value will be exceeding mine and she'll be thinking, well, why am I hanging around with this slacker? So I feel like our relationship is a great relationship for pushing each other to be better. And that's scary. It comes with its own kind of level of fears, and then relationships that are different to that. Because if Chloe excels and I don't, I'll be left behind. So there's a lot of pressure I put more pressure on myself to be a better human. So me buying the diary is possibly slightly like that. I see Chloe being so productive so often and I think I need to be so productive. I need to be more productive. So you kind of learn about each other's attributes and kind of I try and emulate those attributes, and I'm sure that you do the same with me.
Yeah, and that's so true about working on yourself, and it can be quite worrying that the other person might then be this really awesome, clear person. You're still stuck behind their wounding. And it reminded me of something I was listening to that said how some couples, they won't go to therapy, or one of them won't go to therapy, like especially long-term relationships, because they're worried it might rock the boat. Like they've got their quite stable relationship, and then if one of them goes to therapy, it might bring all this stuff up, and then it might end the relationship. So they'd rather stay in something that's not that great than be potentially alone, because it could cause a breakup. And that's why a lot of people long term, not a lot, I mean it's got better in our like era, but some people are worried about that, or especially one partner doing therapy, because the other person's like, oh shit, this person's working on themselves, like they could leave me if they get better.
Well, you see a lot of relationships like that where one half will not want their partners to succeed, so they will use, they will try and bring that other person down to remain with them in that low vibration, should we say. So you may be trying to go out and doing all this stuff, and in certain relationships, I would be saying, oh, it's so stupid that you're doing that. Oh, you'll never get to that position in life. Oh, you're really overestimating that one. You're never going to get to that position, and kind of bring you down to their level. So fortunately, our relationship is the polar opposite of that. And I feel like even though it brings its own fear with it, which is this person may excel in front of me if I don't keep up, we push each other anyway, and we just realise that we've got to work harder to be better people.
Yeah, I think that's very true, and it's a good thing.
Mm.
I think the open relationship makes that even more like of a big deal, because there's that pressure that the other person could meet someone who's more worked on themselves, better kind of human.
And even for ego reasons, I mean, you may be sleeping with a guy that's much more muscly than me or much better looking than me, so you can only work on your looks to a certain extent, but it does give me a kick up the arse to go to the gym a little bit more. Fortunately, we're both in that kind of that stage where those ego traits aren't quite as important to us, and our characters being better and better are more important to us than those things. So fortunately, we're pushed to work on our characters rather than our looks. Yeah,
definitely.
Or we work on our characters more than our looks.
Yeah, because I still am quite into my looks. So I hope you guys enjoyed our first ever episode on Let's Be Open. We enjoyed it, didn't we? Did you enjoy it, Tris?
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, good. You sounded a bit hesitant.
I think it'll get a little bit better the more often that we do it.
Yeah, we do apologise if it's a bit rough around the edges, but we promise it will get better. We might even have a little jingle soon as well for the podcast.
Yeah, definitely.
Some little music for you guys. But and we've got some good topics to come up with that we've already written about, that we want to talk about, things like social conditioning, jealousy within relationships. You want to cover like the ego as well. So lots of good stuff coming up, isn't there?
Yeah, the ego, possessiveness, correct ways to act in the world.
Yeah, lots
creating
of stuff.
Equilibrium with your environment, which most people seem to overlook. Yeah, lots of things.
Yeah, so if you're not subscribed already, we'd really appreciate you subscribing and supporting us. Because this is all very new to us, and we will speak to you in our next episode. Bye.
Bye.